Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the TPGW Revolution 3 Prediction Show. I'm mtbDAhkk here with Mr. SRH, the original 2 from TPWF's days, here to talk to you guys about what's coming at Revolution 3. And SRH, what a huge show we've got. 15 matchups.
No kidding. We got the Money in the Bank match. We got the Tag Team Turmoil match. We got the TPGW Women's Tag Team Title match. We got the World Heavyweight Championship match between Kevin Cash and Tony Gordon. And let's not forget Malik Brown versus CJFN Hawkins. And that's just to name a few.
Indeed, it's definitely the biggest show in TPWF or TPGW history. And while we're on the subject of that, let's talk about what match, the official match that's going to be the opening bout. It's actually going to be a Wade Radical Open Challenge. Now, we don't know who his opponent is going to be, but we definitely know that it's someone who's never competed in TPGW before, but it's made a big splash in other promotions. At least that's what the smoke told us.
Yeah, the smoke has told us quite a bit, and I kind of wish he would have went ahead and told us who he signed, but yeah, no, it's not like we don't sign his checks or anything. But I can't really give a prediction on this one because you don't know who Wade Radical's facing. I mean, if we're going by track record, maybe this mystery person might win, but the truth be told, we just don't know.
Well, I can definitely tell you, I've spoken to Wade Radical. He is more focused than ever to try and prove himself at Revolution once again. Let's not forget, Wade does have a victory at Revolution. Revolution 2, he defended the Intercontinental Championship successfully against Cody Lee.
That's true. Maybe lightning can strike twice.
Indeed. Well, it's up to the heavy metal harmonicist to come out on top. But then again, we got to move on to the Hardcore Championship match between Aaron Wilkins and the current champion, Andrew Tanaka.
Wilkins has been trying to get under the skin of Tanaka. This was evident in the Josh Gunner Wilkins match for the qualifier for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match.
That's right.
Wilkins kept running out of the ring, getting into Tanaka's face.
Indeed. And despite how dominant Wilkins has been since he debuted, the past month has definitely seen Wilkins take a downward spiral, mostly due to his obsession with Tanaka beating him for that Hardcore Championship in the first place.
Exactly, which is why I'm thinking that Tanaka's going to pull out another upset. I think he's going to take advantage of Wilkins's obsession with trying not only to get his hands on him, but also to try to reclaim the title that he lost. See, the thing is, you got to be focused on your match. If you're focused too far in the past, it's going to come back and bite you.
Indeed, and let's not forget, we also have the Women's Tag Team Championships on the line. Mellow Cross and Danny Storm will defend against the Admins of Pain, Samantha Hart and Tia Benson.
Oh man. And here's the thing. These four know each other very well. They've battled in WFS in the past. And now with a new Mellow Cross and Danny Storm in TPGW, with them holding the women's tag team belts, I mean, it's an evolution that I am proud as one of their bosses to just see, but also concerned when it comes down to it. Because the truth be told, there's a reason why Tia Benson hasn't jumped shipped to TPGW when Samantha Hart did. That's because she was busy. She was working on things for WFS with the Uncaged Championship. Samantha Hart and Tia Benson have not really seen much of each other. Have not really seen eye to eye as of late. And so I just wonder if that's going to translate well into this match, even though they have been known to be probably some of the closest pairings you'll see in women's virtual wrestling.
Indeed, and let's not forget that this match all stemmed from the fact that Mello Cross and Danny Storm assaulted Samantha Hart on Diamonds a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, on one hand, yes, it's the Admins of Pain. On the other, it's the tag team champs. You know?
Yeah. Well,
and the difference between the two is that of everybody there, only one of them has never won a championship.
that's very true. Well, this will certainly be a very interesting opportunity. But moving on, we have to talk about the triple threat match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Frost defending against Mercury Maximus and the new guard, Sergeant Ghost. Sergeant Ghost, Mercury Maximus winning a fatal four-way ladder match, becoming the number one contender, but after Sergeant Ghost beat him, he demanded to be inserted, and the smoke made it happen.
Here's my question. What has Sergeant Ghost done? Really?
Well, he's essentially just beaten the number one contender a couple days ago. That's it.
Then that's pretty much where his career up until now stops. We got Frost, who has been a pretty decorated champion so far. I think Frost is going to go on and defend that title into 2018.
Indeed, but we've also seen Mercury Maximus start to come into his own as a singles competitor. So you have to think, Frost does not have to be pinned or submitted to lose this championship. I think if anybody's going to come out on top, it's going to be Mercury Maximus. On the other hand, the underhanded tactics of the new guard may favor Sergeant Ghost as well. For all we know...
Yeah, that's right, because
let's not forget
it's a triple threat match.
That means no disqualification. We might see the new guard come out there and assist their member.
A weak link.
I wouldn't call him that just yet. Let's not forget he's just starting off. But nonetheless, it's going to be impressive to see how Sergeant Ghost deals in his first Revolution match. Same can be said for Frost and Mercury Maximus. All three of these guys are new to Revolution. And with Frost's domination, Mercury Maximus is high-flying, and the just straight-up brutality of Sergeant Ghost, it certainly is going to be interesting to see who can come out on top in this amazing triple threat Cruiserweight Championship match. But we have to move on. Because for the first time ever in TPGW, we will have a women's mid-card title dubbed the TPGW Genesis Championship. This match...
It's the studio.
Indeed. As this match is going to be a huge fatal four-way elimination match. The Punk Princess Melissa Bailey. The Vampiric Mistress Ruby Darkmore. The Gothic Diva of Doom Winter Rain, and the Cinderella Sensation Ovana. SRH, who's coming out on top?
Ovana. She's been on a roll this year alone, and I'm still going to say it. She is probably one of the most... I don't know, there's just something about her. When she comes out, people look, people listen, and they see what she can bring to the table. So... I don't know. Maybe it's the fanboyism in me. Maybe it's just the fact that I had the privilege to call her first match. I don't know. But something tells me Ovana is going to come out on top and, well, win.
Well, ever since I dubbed Ovana the Cinderella Sensation, she certainly has made a name for herself and certainly garnered attention with virtual wrestling fans. However, you can't ignore the fact that Winter Rain has gotten pinfall victories over every single other person in this match over the past couple of months, including Ovana. True, Ovana came back and defeated Winter Rain on Diamonds, but Winter still has that confidence that she's beaten everyone. She's beaten Ruby Darkmore, she's beaten Melissa Bailey, and she's beaten Ovana. And Winter, let's not forget, last year she wasn't even technically a part of Revolution. Her contract was on the line. So Winter's got more to prove. Because right now she's 1-0 at Revolution, and she does not want to be 1-1.
No, she doesn't. Well, it's a multi-person match, so I'm almost concerned for everybody in that match that isn't Winter Rain.
Indeed.
Especially because here's the thing. For fans at home that are listening to this and might not have a clue, Winter Rain has never been known to be shy about the chip on her shoulder. She's taken it backstage, starting fights with everybody in the back, and she translates that into the ring as well. I mean, heck, she's gotten in my face a couple times, and she's a scary lady.
Indeed, she's gotten in mine too. But nonetheless,
It's not fun.
and something tells me we're about to see one hell of a fatal four-way clash at Revolution. But as long as we're on the subject of multi-woman matchups, for the first time ever in TPGW history, there will be a women's Money in the Bank ladder match. 8 women, SRH, but we only know 5 of them. We originally had 6, but Lena Pristine was injured in a match with Crystal Marsh, so she's going to be missing out on Revolution. And we still don't know who the other 3 are, but I can tell you who 5 of them are. 1, the Chinese kick machine, June Tiger. 2, the ringmaster of freakish events herself, Mystic Angel. 3, the webmaster, Crystal Marsh. 4, the airborne cyborg, Shelly B. And 5, the uncaged warrior, Caitlin Cunningham.
AKA the second ever uncaged champion, arguably the longest reigning uncaged champion. Huh.
Hence where she got her nickname, the Uncaged Warrior. But nonetheless, yeah. Caitlin Cunningham certainly proving herself. And you got to believe either her or Mystic are the odds-on favorites.
Well, absolutely. If not just for their prowess alone, they've garnered a lot of attention from people outside of the company. I mean, they're stars. You know, I mean, Mystic, yeah, she knew she was a star from the get-go. Caitlyn never thought of herself as a star. She just thought of herself as a wrestler doing what she loves. So it's just funny to just see how much they shine, especially Caitlyn. In just a couple years of being in the virtual wrestling circuit, she has went from kind of the clown queen of chaos, because every one of her moves, you never know what she's gonna do next. Now she has this following, and now she's different now, and it's great. And that's part of why I think she is gonna win the Money in the Bank match on the ladies' side. But I don't know exactly who's gonna be the remaining competitors outside of what we know.
Well, I can't tell you who one of them is, but I can tell you that one of them was signed by Holly Harris.
Well, that could be a number of people.
Mm-hmm. And one of them was signed by me personally. And if I'm going to be honest with you, SRH, I can't tell you who it is. I want it to be a surprise.
Is it someone I like?
I think it's someone everybody's going to like.
Oh, doggy.
I went out, I talked to this person, and I said, you know what? You're not doing all that well in ZCW. You're not doing all that well in DCA. Come to my league. I promise you we will get you.
Oh, my God. You actually signed her?
Shh. More importantly, that's my pick to win it.
Oof. It is who I think it is. Be interesting.
Indeed. And speaking of ZCW, the Big Steel is looking for a little bit of payback against George Alpine.
They've actually, I can't really say it was mostly them. I'd say it's a case of backstage politicking from smoke that ended up making this match happen.
Indeed, and the Euro American Championship will be on the line. Alpine will be defending against Zaya Steel. The smoke will be in George Alpine's corner again, but VPOC will be in Zaya Steel's corner this time.
I don't have a prediction for this, and the reason why is because I'm not looking at this as a fan. I'm looking at it as VPOC and Smoke's boss. I have to look at it that way because they're supposed to be in charge of the mid card scene for our show, and I'm afraid my fear is that they might try to throw their weight around in that match and try to do something stupid.
Well, that's very possible. And if something happens, we'll have to do something about it, but hopefully it won't come to that.
I mean, we talked to them. They said they will. We talked to them again. They also said they will. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just paranoia on my end and stuff because I'm the guy promoting. You're the guy making sure everything runs good. I'm hoping it's a good match. That's the part that I will say is that I'm hoping it's a good match.
But if you gotta bring it down to just simply Zaya Steel and George Alpine, who's gonna come out on top in that?
Well, I've always had a thing for the underdogs. I think potentially Zaya Steel is gonna come out on top and regain the Euro American Championship.
That's right. He could very well become a two-timer.
A two-time in steel. I wonder where I've heard that one from.
But either way, looking ahead, we gotta talk about. And speaking of VPOC, we gotta talk about a match that he made, and what a match he made. The 10-team tag team turmoil match, of which we only know 9 out of the 10 teams so far. SRH.
Right.
The current tag team champions Johnny Mike and Stray Meeks, Mortafera,
That's obvious.
the Game Masters, Defunk, the Chaos Flame, Landkrieg and Batbane, the New Guards Taylor Blaze and Patrick Wolf, the Major Players, and Jason Collins and Doug King.
Well, without knowing who the 10th team is, I'm going to go with Jason Collins and Doug King.
Really?
Why? Here's the thing. They did what other tag teams could not do. And that was beat the tag team champions. They were able to do that. And I think with their newfound friendship, their newfound partnership, I think it's going to translate well into this turmoil match.
Well, at the end of the day, I think I might have to disagree with you and say I'm going to give it to Johnny Mike and Stray Meeks. Despite the fact... Yes, that's right. Because let's not forget, that was in a 6... And it's true, they beat them during Royal Rumble week. They beat them on this past live, but this is a completely different environment. Just because they beat Johnny Mike and Stray Meeks doesn't mean they're going to beat Mortafera, doesn't mean they're going to beat Landkrieg and Batbane. That is a completely different scenario. And Mike and Stray, I think, are smart enough to take advantage of that. But then again, it all comes down to who gets the draw. And I think in this type of a tag team situation, the tag champs are going to flourish. But from one multi-man match to the next, it's time to talk about the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, SRH. Louis Marino, Rex Titus, Mal Ryan, Josh Gunner, Dr. Dream, Jay Cruz, Thunderlord Mashney, and Raven Dark, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, Mal Ryan's winning. The man is a ladder match master. I said that the second he beat Wade Radical in a ladder match at Revolution 1. I said that when he won a ladder match at Apocalypse 2014. The man can't lose in ladder matches.
All right. I have two. I have two picks. One is Louis Marino.
Really, Louis?
Mm-hmm. Louis has had some decent luck when it came to multi-person matches. We saw his work during the Rumbles. We've seen his work in tag team matches. We've seen his work even when he broke out and started to do his own thing. This man can carry himself, and he's going into Revolution 3 in a ladder situation where, I mean, the world is his oyster in that match. There's no rules. He doesn't have to worry about a rope break. He can go and throw some dice in people's faces, throw them bones, and I think he'll knock everybody out, climb the ladder, and get the briefcase. If he's able to get somebody who probably has the biggest chip on their shoulder in that match. I'm talking about the one man who every time he has stepped foot in Revolution, he's lost. That man is Rex Titus. In big match situation, he has lost at Revolution. And I believe there is that saying, third time's a charm. I think there might be a chance that he wins this, simply because he's been on a dominant streak ever since he came back. And if I were the other 7 men that is in the match, I'd be taking notice.
Indeed. Well, moving on from multi-man matches to brutal rivalries. We got to talk about Last Man in Hell. Soul Reaper versus Dave Dyer. That's going to be insane.
I mean, the feud has been insane as is.
I think, first of all, we have to explain to the audience exactly what type of match that is, what it entails, and it sounds exactly like it is. It is a Hell in a Cell match that the only way to win is to incapacitate your opponent for a 10 count. It is a last man standing match inside Hell in a Cell.
I mean, Dyer saying Reaper's end is 9, and Soul Reaper saying straight up that if there's a chance that he's going to hell, he's taking Dyer with him. And you know what's scary is I believe Soul Reaper. I think that if by chance Reaper ends up on the losing end of this business, he's taking Dyer with him. He ain't going down alone. That's what this match is to him. He wants to fight. He's going to war with Dyer. And Dyer's bringing the war back. I don't know. Part of me is almost thinking that Dyer's gonna win.
Indeed.
Simply because he played everybody for a fool. You know that? I mean, he was able to do that, and he was able to continue getting inside Soul Reaper's head. And I think that's where Soul Reaper is gonna have his downfall. Dyer's gonna be too into his head, and Reaper's not gonna be able to capitalize where it matters.
That is a very true possibility. But Soul Reaper was one of the guys who had the very first match in TPGW history. It was on my personal channel, and he took on the man we're about to talk about next. Because we got to move on to this one. I certainly do believe that Soul Reaper is going to bring the fight to Dyer, and I gotta put my money on Reaper. But moving on, the Triple Crown Championship, SRH. Tommy Ventura will defend the Triple Crown Championship against Matt Farrow. Now, Ventura snuck his way into winning the championship for the past couple of months since Duncan assaulted Kevin Cash inside that Iron Man match. Ventura slid his way through the Elimination Chamber week. He slid his way in his match with VPAC, except now I don't think there's any sliding out for him anymore. I think Matt Farrow is going to corner him, super kick him, and win the Triple Crown Championship. Your opinion?
Yeah, I think so too. Here's the thing, Tommy wants to play the sleaze game. Matt Farrow practically brought that to TPWF. Matt Farrow knows how to play dirty. He can play dirty with the best of them. And so with that, plus his experience, plus the fact that Matt Farrow is probably one of the most intense competitors we have had, that we'll ever have, in not just TPGW, not just WFS, but in all virtual wrestling. I think Matt Farrow is going to take that intensity and apply it into this match and come out on top.
And here's another reason. Matt Farrow, unlike Ventura, has 1,000 times more things to prove after the year he's had. Yes, Matt Farrow survived the best of 5 with Andrew Tanaka, but then he lost to Call All-Stars 9 to Malik Brown, and then again during Elimination Chamber week. He disappeared for almost 2 months, only to come back with a completely new look, a completely new attitude. He straight up super kicks Tommy Ventura and says he's going for the Triple Crown Championship.
He doesn't wait in line. He doesn't do anything. He straight up got in Ventura's grill, took out all the fancy pieces to that car, and said, I'm taking the title, and walked out of the shop. Because that's the kind of guy Matt Farrow is. And I think Matt Farrow needed to take that 2 months off to kind of reinvent himself. And I feel he has, and I feel he's gonna win. You feel he's gonna win? Our vote is Matt Farrow.
Well, from one brutal match to another. Speaking of Matt Farrow and his past matches over the past year, we're about to have the dream match of dream matches. It's our Hogan versus Andre. It's our Rock versus Hogan. Revolution
it's
3.
Our John Cena versus AJ Styles.
It is, for the very first time ever in any form in virtual wrestling. Doesn't matter if it's DCA, doesn't matter if it's AWF. We got it first. We're putting it out. Malik Brown versus C.J. Hawkins. The ultimate prediction right here, SRH. Who's coming out?
Gee. Look, I've known C.J. Hawkins for a decade. He's been a good friend of mine. I mean, he is a legend in the business. I just don't know. I think this is probably one of the only matches really that I can honestly say, while C.J. Hawkins has that experience factor and he's been around the well a long time. I mean, he has done it all.
Malik's also got the experience, and he's got that fire. He's got that intensity.
I'm almost gonna say this is probably the most even but also most. I don't even know what to say about this match other than this is probably the most important match in virtual wrestling.
It's almost kind of a. It almost feels kind of like that changing of the guard. C.J. Hawkins was a guy who started off at the beginning with Call Wrestling. Malik Brown came in a little bit later, but CJ was always the top guy, while Malik was always, for a long time, was not the top guy. But nowadays, over the past couple of years, Malik Brown has certainly elevated himself to be noticed as one is probably the top guy in virtual wrestling right now. It's essentially it's the reason why I said this is literally like Hogan versus The Rock. It's the top guy of virtual wrestling's past versus the top guy of virtual wrestling's present. It's literally our icon versus icon match, and this is going to be insane.
That's probably the best way to describe this match. It's iconic.
And
I don't.
as much as I am a supporter of Malik Brown and everything he stands for, CJ Hawkins has had his number for the past month. Hawkins knows how to get inside Malik Brown's head, and that may be Malik's undoing.
I don't think I can place a prediction in this match because I can't.
On the other hand, and this is where the counterpoint is, getting inside Malik's head is a very, very dangerous thing. Hawkins may be digging his own grave by trying to mess with Malik Brown. I understand why Hawkins is doing it. He sees Malik Brown as someone who's coming to TPGW. Hawkins came in to help improve the talent. Hawkins came in to try and push the future. Use his example to push the future. Malik Brown comes in, he immediately wins a championship, takes out a guy like Matt Farrow for 2 months, and CJ Hawkins says, enough. You're not going to come over here and trample on everybody, bury everybody on the TPGW roster. I'm going to stop you. Where Malik, he also has a good point. CJ Hawkins, over the past couple of years, he's been in little known teams. The stuff he's done in AWF. He comes back to TPGW, has a huge match with Daniel Stone. But other than that, ever since CJ peaked at Call All-Star 6, we haven't really seen a whole lot of him. I mean, Eddie Mack even said during Royal Rumble week he thought CJ Hawkins retired.
I mean, essentially, he kind of did. He came out to help every so often where it was needed. But he didn't need to come back to TPGW because he knew that the example he led and left was still going on up until Malik Brown showed up and did what he did. There's so many factors in this match. They're almost even.
Indeed, two guys with very legitimate points. At the end of the day, it's going to be who has the guts to come out on top.
Yeah.
But either way, we got to move ahead. And while we're talking about extremely personal matchups, the next couple are going to get very, very personal. And perhaps what might be the most brutally shocking match of the night, the Black Lagoon Street Fight. Revy versus Kitty White. And SRH, I'm going to be dead honest with you, I am scared for Kitty.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm scared for Revy. I mean, I, when Kitty came back and attacked Revy, what she did, that's something that I saw a look in her eye that I've never seen on her before. Usually she's always smiles and hugs and all that kind of fun stuff, but that was not the same Kitty White that we saw before.
That's very true.
And I mean, that's the power that Revy has over people. She can take what is considered to be happy-go-lucky or just carefree about everything and break them. That's what she did to Carmen Cortez, mind you, not that long ago. And that's what she did to Kitty White. And I like to think that 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 is gonna be Revy's undoing. She doesn't know what she caused, essentially, and that part, that factor alone makes me concerned and makes me think Kitty White might just. I don't think she's gonna walk. I don't think either of these ladies are gonna walk out. I think they're gonna go in. They're gonna beat the living, utter hell out of each other. Limb from limb, hair strand to hair strand, every pore in their body. They're gonna beat the crap out of them. And they'll be lucky if they can even crawl out of this match. But in the end, I do think Kitty White will come out on top.
Well, I can certainly see your point. Kitty did one thing that Revy absolutely will not forgive her for, and that's cost her the Women's World Championship. Revy is going to bring out that side of her that she used on Carmen for this match. This was the match that started the Revy-Carmen rivalry. And now Kitty White is dead center in Revy's crosshairs, and it's not going to be pretty what Revy does to her.
Not at all. I remember when... I remember it was my first day on the job in DCA. I walked into the arena and I see Carmen getting pushed out.
Indeed, I remember Redemption. Revy literally stripped Carmen of her clothes, beat her to a bloody pulp, and left her lying there, broken and defeated. Now, true, Carmen bounced back from that, and I do believe Kitty will bounce back from this. But Revy's not going to make it. But Revy is going to make sure that Kitty White suffers.
Well, if we know anything about Kitty White, she ain't gonna go down easy. And I'm gonna argue and say Kitty's gonna do whatever it takes to make sure Revy doesn't walk.
Indeed. But while we're on the subject of personal matches, we have one more very personal match. And perhaps what might be the most hard-hitting match of the night. Daniel Stone versus Duncan Vermill. Now, Duncan's 2 for 2 at Revolution so far. Revolution 1, he won a Hell in a Cell match against Raven Dark. Revolution 2, he won the World Championship against Rex Titus. Now he's taking on the former World Champion and probably the person who's had the most successful title defenses in TPGW history as far as a World Championship is concerned, Daniel Stone. What Daniel has done over this past year has cemented him as one of the faces of the future for not just TPGW, but virtual wrestling.
Yeah, he represented TPGW in the Pure Tournament.
And let's not forget, the only reason he lost in the Pure Tournament was because Ben Hitman could not pin him. Ben Hitman had to get the win by countout.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Hitman couldn't pin Daniel Stone. And it took the New Guard, the combined effort of the New Guard, to make sure Daniel Stone lost that world title. No one could beat him one-on-one for that.
No.
CJ Hawkins couldn't beat him one-on-one for it. Rex Titus couldn't. Lord knows Tony Gordon couldn't. It took the New Guard to do it. George Alpine couldn't do it. Dozens and dozens of men have stepped up. And one-on-one, Daniel Stone has taken them all down. He's even beaten Duncan. Mind you, it was by countout, so we really don't know who's going to come out on top in that. But Daniel Stone made his career off the Nightmare, and the Nightmare's looking for payback. The Nightmare's looking to take his domination back. And SRH, I'm going to be honest with you, I am scared of how he did it. Duncan Vermillion
Aligning himself with Ashura.
Yeah. And since Duncan has joined Ashura, every single person in his path has been utterly destroyed.
Yeah.
On a level that Duncan hasn't shown since never. Duncan's always been a scary dude, but this is something else entirely.
I mean, here's the thing. Duncan never went to such extremes because, I mean, he's been pushed, but I don't think he's ever been pushed to the point where he had to. And now that he aligned himself with Ashura, he's always on that extreme. 24/7. He eats, breathes, and sleeps that intensity. I can't place my finger on who I want to win, but I can say this: if I were Daniel Stone, I'd be not only lacing myself up with holy water, but I'd be bringing my two fists, making sure they're plated with something, because Duncan doesn't go down easy, and especially now, he doesn't go down easy. Daniel Stone's gonna have to bring it.
Indeed. But, as much as I believe in Daniel Stone, Duncan's 2 for 2 at Revolution. I don't think he's going to be 2-1. I think Duncan's going to come out with his third Revolution win. And I am scared for anyone who steps in the ring with Duncan at Revolution. Just with the past 2, I've seen how Duncan gets at Revolution. I've only seen that look in one other guy at a big show like this, and that's The Undertaker. For 21 years in a row. I think Duncan's on the verge of starting his own streak. And Daniel Stone may just be the next victim to burn in the fires of Ashura if Duncan has his way. But we got to move on to the two World Championship matches. The first one is the Women's World Championship match. And SRH, I got to say, where did Alice Andraste come from? Half the year she was this convoluted, possessed Alice doll. It came down to the ring looking like she was going to drag someone down to the pits of darkness. And now all of a sudden, she becomes more human. She starts German suplexing people all over the place. Straight jacket Germaning people. She beats Revy one-on-one, and then she wins the women's world title, and she is defending against Roxanne Quinn, who has turned over a completely new leaf and is essentially taking out the competition. That's why Jennifer Cruel's not at Revolution, because Roxanne took her out.
I mean, we've been around Roxanne ever since she came out as Sophia Young. We've been around Roxanne when she won her first title, when she came back in this resurgence known as TPGW. This is a different side of Roxanne Quinn that, on one hand, I didn't see coming, and on the other, I'm not surprised that it didn't. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. Roxanne Quinn, we thought. I mean, people at home, we've already stressed that Winter Reigns' chip on her shoulder is huge. It pales in comparison to Roxanne Quinn. Difference is that Roxanne doesn't whine backstage. She brings the fight backstage. She brings the fight to the ring. She brings the fight anywhere she can because she feels she is the queen of the women's division. And right now, she doesn't have her crown. She doesn't have her throne. Someone else is in her spot.
Well, Lord,
someone is the women's world champion.
And Lord knows the match with Amber Stevens certainly didn't help with that. Roxanne put on one hell of a show, one hell of a match though. Roxanne and Amber Stevens, they threw down during Royal Rumble week, but SRH, you gotta believe that Roxanne's loss to Amber Stevens may have made Roxanne snap.
Oh, I think it did. But I still think it was a long time coming. I thought she would have snapped earlier this year. I thought she would have snapped at any point in time. I'm surprised she was able to hold it for so long. She always seemed a bit tense. Even after her matches, even when she was winning. She always seemed a bit tense. And then suddenly, like that, her loss to Amber Stevens. Just something inside her snapped. And all hell broke loose.
Because let's be honest, Roxanne was at the top of the TPGW's women's division earlier this year. She was the champion until Revy came around. As soon as people started coming in from other companies to help build the TPGW name, Revy, Amber, Caitlyn, Samantha Hart, Tia Benson, all these people coming into TPGW, and Roxanne Quinn almost getting lost in the shuffle a little bit. Let's not forget, she lost in the first round of the Queens of Wrestling tournament to Carmen Cortez. I think Roxanne's had enough of the so-called, of what she believes is the higher echelon of virtual wrestling, and she's ready to make her mark and stake her claim. But I still believe Alice is doing the same. Because unlike Roxanne, Alice beat Revy. And I think that's what gets under Roxanne's skin. Alice Andrade is doing what she couldn't. And Roxanne is going to do whatever it takes to put Alice Andrade in her place. But I still don't think it's going to be enough because Alice is on a roll like never before. Just like something snapped in Roxanne, something snapped in Alice. Something snapped in Alice through her mediocrity when she started off. And then finally, she goes through life with a new perspective. And out of nowhere, she eliminates Revy inside the Elimination Chamber match. She almost wins it. She beats Revy one-on-one on Diamonds. No shenanigans, no nothing. A clean win. How many people can say they have a clean win over Revy?
It's a short list. Yeah. But We can talk about
The only
accolades all
person
we
that's
want.
ever beaten, the only person that's ever beaten Revy on that level is Carmen. And now Alice Andraste has made a name for herself, and I think she's going to do the same thing at Revolution against Roxanne.
I was gonna say we can talk about accolades all we want. But when it comes down to it, yeah, I do think Alice has a real good shot in winning. And I do think Roxanne has too much on her mind to pull out a big one on such a grand stage like Revolution. And to kind of add on to my point, where's Jennifer? You know,
Well, that's something that we might find out
that's
at
some.
That's something we might find out at Revolution.
I mean that's the part that I'm kind of concerned about because Roxanne can cash more checks than her mouth can cash, or her mouth can cash more checks than she, like, whatever the phrase is. Point is, Jennifer could come up from out of nowhere and get Roxanne. I mean, I don't know. Just there's a lot of factors in it that makes me think that Alice will win.
Indeed. But it's time to wrap this up with the final match, the main event of Revolution. Tony Gordon will defend the TPGW World Championship against the Royal Rumble winner, Kevin Cash. Kevin Cash has never won a world championship. He said it himself in an interview he had in Olympus. And he has been here in this business a long time, SRH.
Yeah,
Same can be said for Tony Gordon. These two guys have been in this business a long ass time. The only difference is that when it came to getting to that top level, Cash has earned it every step of the way. He's a 2-time Triple Crown champion, a former TPWF Intercontinental champion. He put on a classic Iron Man match with Tommy Ventura. He won the King of the Ring tournament. He won the Royal Rumble by eliminating C.J. Hawkins. Cash is on the roll of a lifetime, and I do, without a shadow of a doubt, believe that finally, Kevin Cash is going to win a world championship. It's the era of the extreme, and Kevin Cash is going to be standing on top of the mountain. SRH, your opinion?
I almost mirror everything he said, with the exception of Cash winning the championship. I think he's gonna win, but the problem is that Tony Gordon, the new guard's banned, right?
New guard after he beat Patrick Wolf, yes, the new guard's banned from ringside.
I don't know. It's just part of me thinks in my head that Tony Gordon, he fooled us all when we thought that he was a stand-up, good-hearted person, and that he was gonna do things with perseverance and hard work. And then Elimination Chamber happened. Part of me thinks that Tony Gordon is gonna outsource and do something that might either keep the championship belt on him and win, or keep the championship belt on him and get disqualified. I don't know, but part of me really, maybe it's just me not trusting Tony like I once did. Maybe it's my concern for Cash that maybe he needs to kind of be prepared, not just mentally, but also in a physical sense. I don't know. I think Cash will win, but he ain't gonna win the championship.
Well, for all our sakes, I hope you're wrong. Because the longer we're stuck with Tony Gordon as world champion, the longer the New Guard's grip will become stronger.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Revolution 3 will be in 2 days. The pre-show is tomorrow with, of course, our classic Jobber Royal. That's going to be a fun match to call. December 31st, 2017 is the official starting date for Revolution 3. It's the biggest show in it's the biggest show in TPGW history. This is our show, SRH. This is the show where we redeem ourselves for that hiatus.
Absolutely.
Where TPGW puts its name on the map in virtual wrestling. We are going to shock the world. And I am ready. Follow TPGW on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. And don't forget, folks, hashtag TPGW100. It's damn time we get up to 100 subscribers. See you guys at Revolution 3. Booyakah!